Okay, we are officially recording right now. Just one more time. My name's Art Williams. I'm a writer with Obtainer-Online.com magazine, an MLM and direct sales magazine. And I live in beautiful Barranquilla, Colombia. I'm originally from Texas. I'm sort of semi-involved in network marketing actively right now, but I write about the business every day. And with me, we have Colin. Colin, introduce yourself, please, sir.
Hey, I'm Colin Yearwood, and I help network marketers grow their business online through blogging, content creation, repurposing of content that their company offer, and using it as a way to generate leads, prospects, customers, business partners. Mm-hmm. Actually, I'm from South America. I'm originally from Guyana, which is on the other side of Colombia where you are right now.
Yeah.
But I'm in the United States right now.
That's cool. What part of the U.S. you live in?
I live in Nashville, Tennessee.
Nashville. You into country music?
I've just moved there a year ago, and I find myself liking it more and more. I like music, so the new country music is very modern and poppy and fun. So I'm enjoying some of it.
That's true. Do you play any instruments?
No, I'm not that creative. I wish I played an instrument because Nashville is the place for musicians.
I was a music major in college. I played clarinet, and then later on, I played bass guitar in our church band for several years. So I love music. I almost married a girl from Colombia back in 2001, and when I came back to Houston, where I was living at the time, I figured, well, if I'm going to marry this girl, I know that they all love to dance. So I started taking salsa lessons, and one thing led to another. I didn't marry the girl, but I really got into salsa, and then I learned bachata, and then cha-cha, and merengue, and
bachata.
Yeah,
bachata is a dancing love.
Yeah, more than salsa, really.
Yes, a lot more involved.
Yeah, well, you can get closer to the girl. I mean, I'm 71 years old, so at this point, it's not about going out there and driving down the street at 15,000 RPMs in first gear. I like to cruise and overdrive, and that's what bachata. Are you familiar with kizomba, by the way?
No, I'm not actually.
Yeah, well, it's called African tango. Yeah, it's the embrace of tango, the real close embrace, and it's a three-step. It's A B A B, but it's really, really sensual. And the music sort of sounds like a Latin version of disco. It's got a real heavy bass drum, and very lyrical. They sing it in. You're familiar with the language Creole?
Yes.
Yeah, they sing. It's either in Creole or Portuguese or sometimes in French. But it's beautiful music. Yeah.
Is it similar to like zouk?
Well, it uses a zouk music. Yeah, I'm a little curious. My understanding is that it's Portuguese colonies. Now, was it Guyana? It was British Guyana. The British were there, right?
Yeah, British. That was the British were our colonial masters till about 1966, and then we got independence. Yeah, and we already just a fun fact I love to share. We're the only English-speaking country in South America.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
There you go.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Well, tell me, speaking of Guyana, how big is it? What's going on with MLM in Guyana? Do you know?
I have no idea what's going on with MLM in Guyana. I migrated to the United States in 1986, and most of my family is either here, the UK, or Canada. But I have no idea of the MLM business in Guyana. I really don't see many companies promoting. I see a lot of Haiti, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico. I don't really see any done that way.
Yeah. So are you active in any particular?
I think you just froze. You just froze up. You just froze up.
Can you hear me now? Testing.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah, I just said, are you active in any particular MLM company yourself?
No, I'm not currently active in any company. I love the business model, but what I find I like more and gives me more reach is just teaching and training across different companies. I have clients across several different MLM companies.
Can you give me an idea of some of the particular success stories you've had with some of your clients?
So, one of the easiest ones recently is using Facebook. Using Facebook as a lead generator through Facebook, through what's called lead pages, a landing page, collecting their email address, and then sending out an email sequence to them. What we basically did is just set up a landing page offering a free product, one of the products that the company offer, and we bought ads that led directly to targeted ads on Facebook that led directly to the landing page. People submit their name and email. We actually had the phone number option there, which was not required, but we found about 70% of the people actually left their phone number.
Wow, that's a pretty high rate.
Yeah, it just gave the perception it was required, but it was not. So what my client did is as soon as those email opt-ins came, he got a notification the opt-ins came. He quickly checked. If they had a phone number, he will quickly call and just briefly introduce himself. Not sell anything, just quickly introduce himself and build some rapport, answer some questions if they wanted. And then we use the email follow-up sequence. It was 6 emails. Over those 6 emails, we informed them about the product, answer some frequently asked questions, and soft sell them through the process. And we had some success with it that way. That's one of the most recent.
That's interesting. How do you think that Blab is shaking up the social media game? Do you have any particular opinion on that?
I actually just got on the Blab yesterday for the first time, to be honest. I'm a friend of mine who's bigger in the social media space has been encouraging me for about 2 to 3 weeks to get on. I'm like, another platform. But what I like about Blab is the interaction that you can have. Yeah. And that is something Periscope doesn't have, and Meerkat, because with Periscope you have to basically carry on the conversation yourself. Yeah. So it becomes a little difficult. Blab reminds me a little bit of Screencast. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Well, that's a type of broadcast, right? Screencast, yeah.
Yeah, it's a platform where you have the similar interaction on screen and you have the running comment section, but they had a platform where you had to pay for the recordings. Uh-huh. But what I like about Blab, number one, it makes it easy for anyone to jump on. Super. It takes away that technology barrier. I think if used correctly, it can definitely be a great way to build relationships. Mm-hmm. I'll tell you the honest truth about it. I'm looking to build more followers on a Twitter account I have and possibly build an email list with it. I find people that I'm hoping that people that join my Twitter stream through Blab and join my email list through Blab have a more of a rapport with me because they've gotten to see me, hear me, experience me before actually joining. Mm-hmm.
I've seen some references. Matter of fact, it was someplace just yesterday that they basically I'm paraphrasing what they said was that Twitter wasn't any big deal and might not even last that long. But I tend to disagree. I mean, it seems to me, if I'm any example, I mean, this Blab has put Twitter in a whole new perspective for me. I mean, I never considered myself certainly not an expert, and frankly, not that much interested in Twitter because I couldn't see how you could, number one, generate any useful information, or number two, how you could use it. But I think that I'm surprised that we haven't already seen more products like on the Warrior Forum about how to use Blab. That really is kind of amazing to me.
It's only been out 2 to 3 weeks, but less than a month. I'm quite sure you're going to see a flood of products coming out. I actually saw a really good blog post yesterday on Social Media Examiner that by Joel Kahn that actually give a very good overview on how to use Blab. I actually have a product which is hilarious. I have a product that teach network marketers how to use their conference line to build as a lead generator to build up their stature and as a lead generator. And I think that product can be easily modified now to position it for Blab.
Well, you mean a phone conference line?
Yeah, use a phone conference line. Basically, the product is how to use interviews to become an authority, to demonstrate to your prospects and your customers that you're an authority, and using some simple structure on how to conduct the interviews using a conference line, and having your prospects actually hear you on the conference line rather than your upline, because usually it's the person who's doing the interview or being interviewed, those are perceived as the expert. So if you're able to use the conference line and interview someone, the perception is that, oh, this person is a little bit more of an expert than I thought. Mm-hmm. And it brings a little bit more trust to your prospects and warm them up a little bit more to you.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of conference lines, do you have any particular conference platform that you like?
I use freeconferencing.com. To me, they're all the same. Freeconferencing.com. What I love about it is you quickly get an MP3. You can quickly download your recording as an MP3. And what I do and I recommend is quickly add in an intro and an outro to it, using like Audacity.
Yeah.
And you basically have a podcast. You have an audio file there that could be used.
Yeah. Just to throw out a resource you might want to take a look at. I'm an affiliate, although I didn't put my affiliate link in there. You ever heard of a product called Audio Acrobat?
I have, actually.
Yeah. Do you know much about it?
I don't know much about it. For me, I've always used Audacity because it was easy and it was free. So tell me a little bit about Audio Acrobat.
Well, I used it many years ago. My first blog, I've always been a prolific blogger. I got started blogging about salsa clubs when I was learning how to dance. This was back when Blogger was pretty much the only blogging platform, back even before Google bought it. But I discovered this thing called Audio Acrobat version. You can make a podcast.
I just missed that. After you said you discovered, it went our connection. So just repeat that again.
Yeah, well, I discovered it several years ago. It would have been sometime around 2001 or 2002, and used it for several years. And I would make you could record a video podcast. And then it gives you a player. You can take the player and paste it into your blog or on a web page. It gives you a link if you want to put it into an email. People click the link and it's up. But as far as the conferencing, you also get audio conference lines. And it gives you a sizzle line, a bunch of things. Now, I was paying $19.95 back then, I believe. Here, about 2 weeks ago, I got something in the mail from them, and they just basically said, we'd like to have you come back. You're an old customer, and we'll give you the same price you were paying, but give you several new features. So they've added some new features since then, but it's very, very, very sophisticated, and it does have U.S. Lines, and everybody gets one or two, and you can code them for different purposes. They have a facility on there that you could use for a sizzle line, like if you had an MLM group, and some other stuff. It's cool. I'm sort of a tool junkie. I haven't used it a lot, although I am paying for it right now. But I really think that the podcasting options that you have with Blab is going to, for a lot of people, that'd be all they'd need. They would need to learn how to take the file and how to put it in some kind of player and then put it on a website or blog or something.
Yeah, and I think actually I was surprised yesterday after doing my first blog, doing the interview that you met me on. Within a few minutes after getting off, I got an email with both separate download links for the audio and the MP4 from Blab, which I'm like, wow, they make life very easy for you to repurpose the content, and that's something I'm huge about, is being able to repurpose content in different ways. So I'm actually, in a few minutes, I'm going to be sending that interview off to get it transcribed, and package it up a little bit, just to play around and see what I can do with it.
Yeah. Do you keep up with MLM industry news much, Colin?
Not as much as I should. I definitely am if I'm working with a particular company, if I have a client in a particular company, I'm well versed on that company. I rarely follow overall industry news.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Have you heard about the FTC complaint against Vima?
No, I haven't. Share that with me.
Do you know who Vima is?
I don't, but you can share both with me. I'm actually going to Google that.
You remember a company called Zango many years ago? They're still around.
Yep.
Yeah, they had a mangosteen drink. I was in that. It was a good product. And then remember before them there was a company called Tahitian Noni.
Yep, I remember that.
Well, my understanding is that Morinda, which is the company that had Tahitian Noni, that they actually started what's known as the functional health beverage niche. And then Zango came around, and they were really hot for a while. I think they're not quite so hot right now, but they're still around. They were for a long time. They were even bigger in Europe than they were in the U.S. Their U.S. business sort of slacked off a little bit, but they were real popular in Russia. But then there have been other drinks, and then companies like Vima and there's another one. It's pretty. I can't remember the name of it, but most of the companies right now have their energy drinks. And sometimes the term that they use is lifestyle beverages and health beverages and weight loss beverages. Of course, I'm sure some of them are more effective than others. But Vima is one of the more successful companies in that what I call lifestyle beverages when I write about it with Obtainer. And they're in Scottsdale, Arizona, which is, maybe you know, is one of the municipalities within Phoenix. I went to graduate school over on the other side of town in Glendale. And they got an FTC complaint. Apparently that's the technical name for it in the mail the other day. And basically the complaint says that nobody makes any money in Vima, that they focus strictly on recruiting, and they over-focus on auto ship. The analysis that I've seen, and I've read a lot about it on a MLM publication called Behind MLM. You ever seen them?
I've seen them, but never dig into them.
Well, my understanding is the guy on there is not very pro MLM, but I will say he apparently does some really good research, and he comes out with a lot of stuff that'll have a lot of facts in it. He's written some articles about it and quoted some other people too. And so most that the FTC had with Vima, or has with Vima, wasn't so much the auto ship, but the fact that they maybe the products were overpriced. And also, apparently they were irritated with the fact that Vima had a real strong recruiting, a very successful recruiting program for college kids. Because as you know, the college debt is a big problem for college kids today. So it's not unreasonable that a lot of college kids are open-minded to opportunities because they know there's no jobs out there. And, so in the complaint, basically they were shut down. There's a lot, maybe the term was receivership. So they're in this receivership until I believe it's either today or tomorrow or Thursday, where they have to appear before a judge and have to show reason why they should not they should not be continue to be shut down, or why they should be allowed to operate while they fight the case. And the observers that I see, that I read, they say the bottom line is they've either got evidence of retail sales or they don't. That's the issue, is whether they sell retail or not. And it's interesting to people who watch the industry, and it really, in my opinion, should be interesting to people like you too, because I think you're going to see a lot more companies really, really start to say, maybe we should think more about retail selling.
You know, I'm glad you made that point. Actually, a company, I'm not going to mention the name, but a company I work with, I've been working with for about a year and a half now. They've had a heavy recruiting mechanism, and you made a lot of money in the recruiting component of the business. Mm-hmm. Yes, you did make money on the products, but that was down the road. If you became 2 levels up or 3 levels up after you build your team, mm-hmm. your residual income based on the products were substantial, but you had to put in a lot of recruiting in the beginning. Mm-hmm. And the recruiting, you can easily make between $5,000 and $10,000 a month on just recruiting. Mm-hmm. And this company recently, this year, this spring, made a massive 360, 180 actually, to start focusing on product sales. Mm-hmm. And they've made the product sales even more profitable up front. I know most companies, do a combination in the U.S. of points rather than, dollar payout. Mm-hmm. So they now do, in addition to their points, they now have an actual dollar payout for every product that's sold. So every week you can get a commission mm-hmm. based on every product that you sell that week. And that is something that always worried me about that company. The clients I've worked with in that company, I've always spoke to them about product sales. And that's how I focus on. For me, network marketing should be about product first. Find a product you love and you enjoy. And if there's a financial opportunity behind the product, definitely promote it. Mm-hmm. So I've been seeing that change with that particular company, and they've been around for about 15 years. So I saw that change, and I'm like, wow. So either they got a whiff to something, because it was so dramatic how they've changed their recruiting compensation structure, and their product pricing structure, their product commission structure. Mm-hmm. And to me now it's more in line with a retail sale business. You sell a product that I think their commission ranges from $7 to anywhere up to $30 based on product sales now. Mm-hmm. So I've seen that come in the industry, and they're another company I recently started working with. I see they have that.
Yeah.
commission based on product sales, which you kind of actually with this company you can make more money on product sales than actually recruiting.
Really, that's
in the early beginning. You make more money if your team is if you're new, if you're just you in the business, you can easily make $200-$300 a month. And I think they cater to work at home moms or stay at home moms.
Yeah.
But the bigger your team is, the more you can make. But your income is not based heavily on recruiting.
Do you have any opinion, or put it this way, would you agree that most people that get into MLM are not salespeople?
Correct. Absolutely. Most people that get in, most people that get into MLM don't really understand what they're getting into, and realize it's a sales-driven business. It's either you're selling the company or the opportunity, or you're selling the product. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of people come into that, as you said, they're not salespeople. But I don't think you need to be. I just was sharing a theory with someone where I call, I see a lot of people talk about social selling. And I'd like to refer to it as social sharing, because it's hard to sell on social media. Sooner or later, your friends are going to be annoyed with you. But if you're actually using a product and you're having success with it, you're excited about it, you're legitimately sharing that success, that piques your friends' interest. And then they ask, hey, what is that? How can I get it? So to me, that component of social sharing turns into sales rather than get it on there, buy this product, this company is awesome.
Are you familiar with the term sales funnel?
Yeah.
Well, don't you think that it should be possible, if it's done right, that if you set up the right sales funnel, that you should be able to sell using social media as the top of the funnel?
Absolutely. And that's to me where social sharing comes in. If you have an entry-level product, a low-cost entry-level product, that is the first part of the funnel. Mm-hmm. Or for me, another way I teach it is you give a free report or something of value up front and get someone into your funnel, instead of trying to get that sale. I see a lot of people, I help someone in the makeup niche right now, and a lot of her colleagues just try to sell a product right off the bat. What we've done is create a quick 2-page report talking about, tips and tricks on how to get the most out of mascara. Yeah, I know I'm a guy, but I've learned so much about mascara. And this report is the lead generator. People get on her list, and one of the first things in the first email that we send is we basically said, hey, thanks for downloading it. Here's what you're going to find. If you have any questions, feel free to email me, or here's my number. And, through the process, you get a response. The next email is basically introducing the product that she has that has a solution or has all the components of that report that we offer. And that's a sales funnel. And as you mentioned that too, a lot of network marketers don't create a sales funnel. They look for that one-time sale.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's where the loss comes in,
Have you ever heard of a term called customer-centric?
I have, but how are you using it?
Well, I just share it with you because we're in the same industry. I have a fellow that I've known for many years. Many years ago, back around 2001, he had a company. Him and his partner, Mike Darling. They're not friends anymore, but they had a company that was very, very big. And in my mind, it was sort of like an online marketing tool suite. It was called Veretek, VERETEKK.com. And the guy that started it, Tom Prendergast, PRENDERGAST, he's really a genius. I mean, in my humble opinion, he's like Bill Gates of internet marketing. It developed a lot of really cool tools. And Veretek was a very effective tool, although he now admits, and I thought back then, it was a little complicated for most people, simply because most people in network marketing, I mean, let's be honest, they're looking for instant gratification, and they don't really approach it like a business.
Absolutely.
I mean, I think maybe in my case, I'm just naturally distracted by bright, shiny objects, and that's why I'd rather write about it than talk than do it.
Me too. That's why I'd rather help people with theirs than do my own. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But about, I don't know, several months ago, 6 months ago or so, Mike and, Tom and Mike started a company called Market Hive. And make a long story short, it's a bunch of tools that are free. And he has some incredible technology in there about using what he calls chaos theory. I mean, the purpose here is not to just to sell it, but I do like throwing ideas out. And if somebody is the kind of person who likes to look for things. I mean, really, it's designed, it's sort of like a social network for entrepreneurs, and he means serious entrepreneurs. I'm starting to write a lot of articles in there. It's a great way if a person is any kind of a writer and wants to build a brand. It would be a great way to, it has free blogs. You can put links in there, and it would be, in my opinion, it would be a wise thing for anybody in any kind of business, but especially an entrepreneurial type business to become a member of. I would recommend it for you and anybody, but it's called Market Hive.
I'm definitely going to check it out. I'm actually on the page there right now. I'm gonna follow up with it after we finish chatting.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this: with Market Hive, is it so the difficulty I see a lot of people having to grow their network marketing business is there's so many platforms, so many ideas, so many things are being told.
True.
Is this something else that is outside of, another thing I have to learn? Because as we mentioned before, a lot of people in this business don't realize they have to sell.
Yeah.
And they're not sales. So a lot of people now first start out learning the sales process.
Good point. Well, the answer to your question is it might be perceived as yes, until a person takes a serious look at it. He has a lot of videos. You can see him on YouTube too, Market Hive. But the idea is it's got all of that stuff in it for its own autoresponder. Tom, we talk probably at least once every other day, and I just learned recently, did you know that having your keyword in the domain name is not nearly as powerful as it used to be because social metrics are taking over all that stuff?
Absolutely. Hey, Art, hold me 1 second.
Sure. Hey, we got somebody else coming in at an opportune time. We have Jason Bryant, father, husband, sports writer, broadcaster, podcaster, into college and Olympic wrestling. I like that too. If we would have had that at my school, I probably would have been in it, although I was a music major. Common sense, sports, roller derby, very cool. Music, hey Jason, what do you do in music? Are you a player? And ODU, I have no idea what that is. Okay.
Hey man.
Come on in, Jason, if you can, brother.
Hey, Art, sorry about that. Actually,
go ahead.
A maintenance worker was actually coming to do some stuff in my apartment, so I had to put him off for 15 more minutes. So we could talk a little bit more for 15 minutes. But you were saying that the power of keyword-specific domain has definitely diminished because of the social signals, right?
He was. We had a conversation yesterday too about forums, because we have forums on Market Hive right now. But Tom basically said he's going to take it out. That's actually something that Mike put in there, and he and Mike had a disagreement on that. That Tom says that people don't use forums anymore. They're just not popular. And I mean, myself, I don't. So, and I guess I can only guess that it's because social is serving the same function. But the idea behind Market Hive is it's a bunch of stuff. I mean, obviously the individual will have to make up their own mind, but I think it's cool. And I know Tom's record, he everything he does is based on a lot of forethought.
The point that people don't use forums anymore is kind of it's people who are passionate about niche subjects are using forums. The Warrior Forum is still thriving. You know what I mean? A new company just bought them for a lot of money.
Yeah, I know.
There's a lot of weight loss forums out there that are tremendously active, and it's a massive resource to know exactly what customers want, what customers are talking about, and what are problems on the top of customers' heads. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I still use forums. And you're right. Facebook groups and social media overall has diminished the impact of forums, but I think if you're in a tight niche, if you know your niche and it's very tight, forums can definitely still be effective.
Well, I remember Art Williams, the guy that had the old A.L. Williams company that turned into Primerica. Do you know them?
Yeah.
Well, he used to always say that he used to use a lot of football analogies, and he always said that every formation can win sometime. But no formation is going to win all the time. They all win some of the time. But the key is you've got to be strong in fundamentals. And what you just said about forums was actually my thinking too. Even though I don't use forums, in my mind, it's one of those institutions that I always had a lot of respect for. But Tom said, he asked me about Alexa ranking, for example, for the Warrior Forum. Do you know what Alexa ranking is? And do you realize it sort of means something?
Yeah, I'm very familiar with Alexa rank, and I haven't checked for the Warrior Form in a long time.
It's gone down a lot.
It's gone down a lot?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I haven't been in, for me, I started this whole journey with online marketing, doing it strictly online in like 2007. And when I started in 2007, the Warrior Forum was my go-to place. And because of the Warrior Forum, I learned so much with product creation, and every technique and tip and trick and gimmick that came by. Yeah. The Warrior Forum was a place that was very big for me at the time, but I haven't in the last 2 years really paid much attention to them since my focus has changed tremendously.
I don't go there much. Are you a member of the Warrior?
Yeah, I actually have one of those lifetime memberships.
Yeah, I do too.
I haven't checked it out in a while.
Yeah, well, I used to spend a lot of time there looking at stuff, but I really in the last year or so, I've been going. If you could graph some of my thinking patterns, I'm getting where I'm trying to control the size of my Gmail inbox and quit downloading everything under the sun and trying to maybe brand myself more. I'm starting to do some case studies, which are sort of like just a elaborate, maybe a 2-page testimonial, and then white papers actually pay even more, but they're a little more complicated. I like the idea of case study way through Fiverr. You ever do any gigs on Fiverr?
Actually, I've done a lot of gigs through Fiverr. Actually, I've done a Fiverr case study myself, showing people how they can actually make money on Fiverr using finding a quick duplicatable technique that takes about 8 minutes to do. Mm-hmm. So how it can create the value and how you can do the upsell. I love Fiverr for getting simple tasks done.
How do you think just since we brought that up, do you think that the average person who's serious about building an MLM company or brand could use Fiverr more effectively than they do? Assuming what it was.
Oh, dude. So let me give you a quick rundown on how an MLM business owner who is serious about it can use Fiverr, right? It's a quick rundown. So you purchase your domain and you get your hosted. You go to Fiverr and you get your WordPress blog installed. Mm-hmm. Right? Then on Fiverr, you find a writer that you give them the outline to 5 of the most popular questions you get about your product. Mm-hmm. And the writer write those articles, right? So right now we are up to about $30. You're hosting and stuff. We're not going to count it, but on Fiverr, you're up to about $30. And then on Fiverr, you can have someone do a quick interview of you talking about your network marketing business.
I never thought audio. That. That's a good.
Actually, that's something that's a gig that I did at one point, basically just to test something out, charging people for an interview, and then charging them more for the MP3, and then charging them more, But so that's 4 things you can do right there. So you have all that set up right now, right? Yeah. So you can have someone quickly create your cover for your social media platforms. Let's say Twitter and Facebook. Those are the 2 I would recommend. If you're into Instagram, take the articles and quickly create some social media updates from those articles. That's what you can have people on Fiverr do for you. So from those 5 articles you create, you can have easily a month's worth of social media updates created. Yes, it's going to cost you about $100 or so, $75 or so. But there's so much people can do, network marketing business owners can do with Fiverr. It kind of talks me out of my business because it forces my rate down a little bit because I don't try to do the services anymore. I try to keep it high level, give them strategy.
Rising tide floats all boats. I mean, if you get people past that elementary stuff that's really just chicken feed, then at the bottom of your funnel is your coaching program. So that's really what you want anyway, right?
Yeah, that's what I want anyway. So that's how Fiverr can work. But getting network marketers to wrap their mind around of developing a platform of your own. Your company's website is not yours. You need to develop your own platform, your own blog, your own website, right, and build your personal brand. Yeah. It's a lot to get them to wrap their head around it. And to be serious about it, a lot of these people are not in this business with a 2-year, 3-year game plan. No. A lot of them are in it with a next month, can I make $500 next month? Or can I make, you can, but it takes a lot of work. Yeah.
And they're really kind of naive about the business side of MLM, and they really make the mistaken assumption that just because a person is in MLM, that means that, quote, they love helping people. That's not necessarily true, I don't think.
I meet a lot of people they have no interest in helping people. They just want to make the sale, which is cool.
There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, it's a win-win situation. Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. But you have, so for that person, the product might be the best situation rather than building a team.
Yeah.
You know, but I think a lot of people have the wrong idea of what to expect in network marketing. And I think a lot of times you get into it the wrong belief, and you know, it's not for the long term. You know, and I always tell people is the only business model you can get in, pay. A lot of times you can pay a client I'm working with right now. She paid $100 to get into the business, and she doesn't want to invest nothing else, but she expect to be able to pay her rent in 3 months. At least she was so much. Okay. I'm like, which other business could you invest $100 in and expect an 800% return in 3 months? You know, I would like to be part of that.
3 years, but not in 3 months. I mean, it's totally unrealistic.
It's absolutely unrealistic, but those are the kind of expectations people have about it, and I think it's how the industry has been positioned for a very long time.
Right. Well, you know, that goes back to what Tom says. Tom says, I signed up for a company called Valentis, which is only about a year old, and apparently they have a coffee product that tastes real good, and it's a weight loss product, and they have testimonial pages. But Tom is on pretty good terms with Dave Jordan, who is the CEO of Valentis, and they're moving Valentis toward being a truly customer-centric company, which means, for example, that possibly, now this hasn't been done yet, but possibly in the future, we could have an API, because if the companies have an API, that means they could give it to you, and you could put that API on eBay and actually sell the product. Now, Tom says that that most of the company owners are real hard-headed, and they don't even consider stuff like that, because they say, well, if we put it on eBay or let people do this and that and the other, they're going to start prostituting the price. Like there was a group of Herbalife distributors that were doing that, and Herbalife even got into some had some scrutiny. And then the other thing is, companies should have an option where distributors can have their own 800 number, and somebody would answer the phone and they would say, hello, Colin Success Partners, that kind of thing, and other stuff like that. But he talks a lot about that over on Market Hive, and that's it makes a lot of sense if somebody has already come to that, if they've matured that much in MLM. The problem is a lot of people don't. They're in this dream world, and then the companies take advantage of them. The reason, he says, is the reason companies sell the hype is because they know that their distributors can't sell the product, and they don't expect them to. They expect them to come in, recruit 2 people, and then adios, amigo, don't blame us.
Right, and the hope is the people they recruit are the people who actually sell the product. A lot of times the numbers is in favor of the recruiting rather than sales sometimes. Yeah. You know, there's a company, and I'm going to mention this company because I haven't learned a lot about them. I've just picked up one client with them. It's a company called Unique. They sell makeup. And what I like about
Young, is it? How do you spell it?
YOUNIQUE.
Yeah, I think they're pretty good. They're in essential oils too, aren't they?
No, they're not in essential oils. There's a different company in essential oils. But what I've learned about the Unique business over the last 6 weeks, the client I picked up, is, you know, they're focused on the product. You know, it's a commission. They're focused on selling the product. Yeah. And that's what I enjoy about it, because it's easy now to work with clients who just want to educate their audience about the product. And that's how I position myself, and that's what I'd love to help people do. Yeah. Educate your audience. Sell through education, sell through information, rather than sell through hype, you know. So working with that particular client has been fun because we can find many resources that help her create content. Yeah. To educate her audience. And it's been very easy for her because she doesn't feel pressure to sell. She just share her blog posts on her Facebook. And what I love about sharing information and blog posts on Facebook, you find that your friends and family are more than happy to share your blog posts with their friends and family. Mm-hmm. And you get more shares that way when you're sharing information rather than when you're trying to share a sales page or when you're trying to share a testimonial video. Yeah, I don't want my family to see me associated with that. But, information, people want to be perceived as smart. So if someone writes a smart blog post, I'm going to share that blog post because I'm now perceived as I'm smart because I'm sharing smart information. Mm-hmm. So that's that. You know, I think when it gets wrong to a company focused on product, it becomes easier for reps to sell. Again, it depends on the value and the quality of the product.
Are you familiar with the term cocooning?
No, not at all. Share that with me.
Well, you know what a cocoon is? Okay. Well, cocooning, I first heard it several years ago, but it's the idea that people today they're bombarded with informational stimuli, advertising, and people want to talk about a million different things. And so people tend to sort of on purpose cut themselves off and narrow their focus to just things that they have made a determination they're interested in. And I think that as people, after people have been part of the society at some point, they realize that, wait a minute, I need to start picking the people I let into my inbox a little more carefully, and choosing my followers a little more carefully, and choosing, the people that I deal with in business. And I think that that's one of the directions that MLM companies need to take advantage of, because people do like to deal with people they trust. And of course, you can establish that kind of connection with. You there?
Kind of lost you. Yeah, you're back.
Oh, did you get the point of what I said?
Yes, it's the point of people connecting with people that they trust.
Yeah,
have something in common with. Yeah. Along that lines. And you're right. That, to me, that's how it is. For me personally, I have multiple inboxes, and in those inboxes, if I'm signing up for a free gift, there's a box where all the free gifts go to, and there's only certain people that get into my priority inbox. And that's the way I keep it, because I definitely want to stay focused on how I go about doing things and how I go about, focusing my attention and time. And I think the same thing happened too when network marketers try to promote on Facebook. Is your friends are not on Facebook to be sold to per se. I use Facebook as a relaxation tool. If I have an extra free 10 minutes, I just scroll through to see what's happening, to be entertained, to pick up a tidbit or two, or to connect with my family. I'm not really looking to buy anything, but if a friendly message is put in there that grabs my specific attention to what I am interested in at the time, I definitely wouldn't mind being diverted.
Yeah.
For a few minutes, and just pay attention to that, So I think I don't think a lot of there's more network marketing companies that are coming around to understand, and the sale part of it is more important, and the sales training is more important, because I've seen that. Personally, I've been invited to network marketing groups to talk about sales and how to sell online more in the last year. So I think they're coming around to it.
Yeah.
And they're realizing too, it's product based. If you have a good product that is valued correctly, has a good price to it, have actual results, it works.
I think that our society, unfortunately, is becoming more and more socialistic, and politicians at some point, they're going to have no choice but to start listening to complaints they get from the public about their, in many cases, misconceptions about our industry. And I don't know, are you familiar with the Amway, with the battle that Amway had, back in the late 70s with the FTC?
Yeah, actually, that's, funny thing about it, that's one of the first piece of marketing materials I use to, when a lot of people try to, multi-level marketing is a scam and all that kind of stuff. I used to refer, with my clients would be, my friend says it's a scam. I say, hey, this is the case that says it's not.
Yeah. Well, I've heard different figures. I've heard some people say that that there is a, the rule that, but there's the 10% retail sales rule, or the 20%. And at some point in these various legal battles over the past, there were some guidelines, if not established, at least they were endorsed by the government, that to be a legitimate MLM company, you had to have a certain level, whether it be measured in, it couldn't be measured in volume, of course, because different sales. And that's one of the things that Tom talks about when he says that the MLM companies of the future are going to have to be more sales oriented. I mean, it doesn't mean that you can't recruit somebody. And I don't know if you maybe don't, but the guy who's the head of VEMA, BK Boreyko. His name is spelled Boreyko. And from what I observe, he's a pretty cool guy and successful and runs a good company and so forth and so on. But about a year and a half, maybe going on 2 years ago, they even changed the names. I mean, I always laugh at how MLM companies refuse to call their distributors, and they come stupid names like brand ambassadors, like they're walking down the street in a top hat and coat and tails and something, you know. They're distributors. There's nothing. Coca-Cola certainly doesn't mind calling their people distributors, and they make money. But he started calling his people affiliates. And I think that there is something that the MLM industry could learn from the traditional affiliate model.
There's actually one company out there, and actually that has, I think, you know, how they do things is based on the traditional affiliate model. A company, 5 Links, you know, how they do a lot of things is based on that model, especially when it comes to, you know, they have products and you basically get customers for DirecTV and, you know, AT&T service. You're basically, their reps are basically an affiliate for that, for DirecTV.
I heard you mention that on the interview where I first met you last night.
Yeah, that's who I interviewed, and I've learned that about that company. That's one of the clients I've worked with. I've worked with several people in that company. So you're basically an affiliate. You know, the affiliate commission now is split between you and the company. Mm-hmm. You know, in my old days of internet marketing, you actually can go out and find a company that would allow you to market DirecTV directly, mm-hmm. and they'll pay you the fee. So you cut out the middleman. Mm-hmm. You know, a CPA company, and I did a lot of that. And, you know, so I think depending on how the companies position themselves, a lot of times you're an affiliate. If the company's created its own product, then you become a distributor, or, you know, some call you a presenter, or, you know, as you said, an ambassador. But it comes around on how to sell, and that's the key. And, you know, once companies get away from how to sell the actual product, and not selling the product to business partners, selling the product to people who are not in the business, to me, that's you know, what will continue to keep them safe. You know, the point you mentioned with politicians, I think politicians like the easy button, and the easy button is for a lot of the public have the perception that multi-level marketing, network marketing is a pyramid scheme. That is the easy button, because you know, I always rebuff people and say, you know what, right now Comcast or Xfinity here, cable company here, actually pays me $50 if I refer a friend to them. Yeah. That's network marketing.
Yeah, right. Yeah, sure, yeah.
You know, Verizon would pay me a fee if I switch my service or have my wife switch her service from another carrier to their carrier. That's network marketing. It's based with relationship selling.
Yeah.
You know, but it's the easy button to yell pyramid scheme, because people don't want to take a minute, take your mind beyond that, beyond that easy out. You
mentioned your wife. Do you have a family?
Yeah, I am. I'm married. We have a couple kids, grown kids. They're not around anymore.
Tell us about your kids. What do they do?
My son is 21. He's an artist. He actually lives out in New York City. Graphic designer and artist. He lives in New York City. I have a daughter that's 15. She's in high school. My wife, we're a blended family because we got married later on in life. Uh-huh. My wife has 2 kids, and her son is about 29, and he works. And daughter have married with 2 awesome granddaughters. I actually got 2 granddaughters. So
does your wife have a profession?
Yeah, my wife actually works for the federal government.
Oh, really?
She does not have that entrepreneur bone. She may have the spirit, but I think working for the federal government for 25 plus years kills it.
Well, I wouldn't. I believe next month I'm finally gonna start collecting my Social Security. I put it off for so long because I never thought that I had anything there, because I've been in sales all these years.
You do, man. You do. My dad recently started collecting his. So
yeah. One more thing. What kinds of countries have you traveled to, and what do you think is the future for network marketing companies in non-U.S. markets? Do you think that trend's going to continue? And what do you think network marketing can do for people in other countries that are looking for an opportunity?
I think network marketing is an awesome tool in developing countries because, number one, the barrier of entry is usually low. You don't have to create your own product. You have marketing resources. You have mentoring resources. So I think the investment to get in, it was usually a lot of times a challenge in a lot of developing countries. And I think there's a lot of opportunity in developing countries for network marketing companies to grow. Again, the wrong companies get into these markets and they can ruin it for a lot of people. But if they're companies that are product-based, or solutions-based, you can have a lot of success. And to me, that's where the success comes in network marketing. If you focus on the product, you focus on solutions. To me, there's great opportunities. I know Philippines seems to be a very hot market right now. Dominican Republic. I was surprised that a lot of companies, not a lot, but a few companies have gotten into Haiti because of the conditions there. But I can see it can definitely be something that is massive. I think the trick with that is there's a lot of Haitians that are outside of Haiti.
Yeah,
they're trying to leverage that relationship rather than the homegrown relationship.
Well, there's a big connect why the Puerto Ricans are so strong in salsa in New York.
Absolutely, absolutely. And again, so overall, I think direct sales and network marketing industry can do a lot for developing countries. And creating entrepreneurs is one of the best things to solve a lot of problems. If you have more people making more money, more people that believe they have opportunity, more people that are confident with solutions, the developing countries it becomes easier in developing countries.
I'm thinking too, something you said triggered a thought in my mind too, that if we subscribe to the theory that the MLM company, the future is going to have to be more sales, or it makes sense to me that it's going to it'd be easier for them to establish a sales culture on fresh turf, rather than take an established culture that's built around the recruiting model, like in the U.S., for example. And I've noticed that these people in these other countries, like in the Philippines, for example, and I know in India, and you probably would agree from your experience.
Hopefully, 1 second, Art. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Raven talk. I'll do ... Yes. I'll do a 7-minute interview for you for your website. That sounds good. So that's from Raven, the talk show maven.
Yep. My guy came back.
Oh, okay. No, I was just thinking that I think that, depending upon for most companies, I think they're startups, but it's a good thing for companies to go abroad because it gives them a fertile chance to build new models. And then, of course, it can always come back to the U.S.
The key to that, though, is it has to be a company that is very forward thinking, because a lot of companies are lazy. It's easy to try to take the lazy model that we have here and put it onto another, rather than trying to change how you do things. Try to invent and reconfigure things in a new market. I know one of the things that multi-level marketing companies all talk about is duplication. Mm-hmm. A lot of times you really don't want to duplicate what you've created here. You may want to, as you said, start new, in a new market and see how it works there. And maybe that's something that can come back here, as you said,
Yeah. Well, Colin, I know that you're on a time schedule. I've got one idea and an opportunity I want to give to you. That idea that you had about using Fiverr and for an MLM business builder. Mm-hmm. If you'll come out with a program about that, I will do everything I can to write an article about it in the magazine that I write for. And maybe I can even get a link in there for you.
Dude, actually, that's a go. We're going to make that happen.
Okay.
I would definitely able to appreciate that. So now that gives me something to strive for. So here what's going to happen. I would really love and appreciate if you share with me the email with the MP3 and the video. Mm-hmm. Because I would love to use this video as is on my sites and share it with my list.
Okay.
We've talked about a lot of great resources, so I definitely would. If I get it transcribed, I'll share that with you also.
Cool.
So I shoot you my email via a direct message on Twitter.
All right. Let me see. Also, if you know anybody else that the idea for this quote unquote program. I mean, you and I both know it's not monetized. I mean, but if you know anybody that you think has something worthwhile to say, have them. Give me a ring and we'll have them on the really big show, as Ed Sullivan used to say.
Same for you. If you have anyone who definitely want to talk about their business, their network marketing company, their journey through the company, that is actually the people I would love to talk to, because there's a lot of lessons you can get there. Art, it was great meeting you. Can't believe we met a few hours ago. Yeah. Maybe we can figure out and do something. We can pick a topic one day and do a topic specific chat. I know we were all over the place today.
To do some more programs about, I think people in network marketing, they don't write enough. And it's so easy to get even a blogger blog. They don't write enough. They're intimidated by it, and they think that you have to be like Charles Dickens or Ernest Hemingway. And I also think that there's not enough focus in the MLM market on the expat market. There's a lot there. Over the last few years, there have been a lot of Americans going abroad because they just want to get out of America. It's just for various reasons. Trend is really accelerating, and most of those people are on a fixed income. And if they could find something that they could do, especially if they could do it online, I think they'd really be very receptive to it. I think that's a good subject.
You know, well, let me finish up on this note quickly. I definitely take you on that point where we said network marketers don't like to write. And what I've seen when I've spoken to many of them is they don't know what to write. They don't understand that if they look in their back offices, if they look on their company social media pages and website, all the ideas for content creation are right there.
True.
You know,
I agree.
that's one of the things I teach is like you look at a 3-minute video your company put out, and you can basically have that video transcribed and then add your personality and your story to it, which is an additional 10 lines or,
True.
100 words, and you have content. So that's something I definitely teach. Maybe something we can talk about in the future, man. Art, it's been awesome talking to you.
Yes, sir.
And we'll chat soon.
All right. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. God bless you.